On what seemed like an ordinary evening, Congressman Adam Schiff opened an Instagram Live from his Capitol Hill office. Behind him, shelves stacked with policy books and a California state flag framed the scene. Over 200,000 viewers tuned in, their comments racing across the screen as Schiff outlined his legislative priorities on clean energy and climate reform. For the first 20 minutes, the conversation was measured. Schiff spoke about ambitious renewable energy targets, government incentives for solar, and the urgent need to combat climate change. His tone was confident, his gestures practiced. But then, a viewer asked the question that shifted the entire atmosphere. Why do environmental bills keep getting blocked in Congress? Schiff leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. His voice rose, laced with frustration. Let's talk about the real reason. Elon Musk is blocking progress. His empire isn't as clean as he claims. It's tied to fossil fuel subsidies and oil money. This is corruption, plain and simple. The accusation stunned viewers, and Schiff wasn't finished. He jabbed a finger toward the camera, his words sharp as a blade. Elon Musk presents himself as a climate savior. But behind the curtain, he's Mr. Oil in disguise. The live chat erupted. Heart emojis, fire symbols, and chants of "call him out" flooded the screen. For Schiff, it felt like a victorious moment, a rallying cry to galvanize his supporters against one of the most powerful figures on Earth. But hundreds of miles away in Texas, Elon Musk was watching. Sitting quietly in his office, the glow of his tablet reflecting in his eyes. Musk didn't react with anger. His face was calm, almost unreadable. Yet in his mind, calculations were already being made. This wasn't just political theater. This was a direct attack on his integrity, and Musk knew exactly how he would respond. The very next morning, Washington and Silicon Valley woke up to a political earthquake. Elon Musk, never one to let accusations linger, had already unleashed his counterattack. His legal team, an elite group of attorneys with a track record of crushing high stakes. Corporate disputes, filed an $80 million defamation lawsuit against Congressman Adam Schiff. The complaint was detailed and ruthless. It accused Schiff of spreading falsehoods, with reckless disregard for the truth, in front of hundreds of thousands of live viewers. Musk's attorneys argued that Schiff's statements weren't political opinions but calculated lies, designed to undermine his reputation as an innovator and philanthropist. By noon, every major news outlet had picked up the story. Musk sues Schiff for $80 million over Instagram comments, blared across CNN. Fox News headlined, Musk defends his name against reckless attacks. Progressive blogs countered with, Elon Musk attempts to silence political criticism. But what truly electrified the case wasn't the lawsuit itself. It was the evidence Musk's team revealed. Journalists obtained a leaked internal email from Schiff's office. In it, Schiff had written to a senior aide, Musk's image is stalling our clean energy agenda. We need to hit him hard. Find any information, accurate or not, to show he's tied to oil companies. The three words, accurate or not, sent shockwaves through Washington. Legal experts immediately flagged it as the smoking gun, the very definition of actual malice, the legal threshold Musk needed to prove defamation against a public figure. Commentators went into overdrive. A CNN analyst declared, if this email is authentic, Musk's case is rock solid. Schiff could be in serious trouble. Meanwhile, in California, Schiff scrambled to regain control of the narrative. To his supporters, he dismissed the lawsuit as a partisan stunt, a billionaire using his wealth to intimidate elected officials. But behind closed doors, Schiff's staff was rattled. The leaked email was a problem too big to ignore. Some aides whispered that their boss had gone too far. Others feared the congressman's online bravado had finally backfired. Musk, however, moved with icy precision. While Schiff's office descended into panic, Musk projected an image of calm confidence. In private, he told his legal team, this isn't just about me. It's about accountability. You can't spread lies without consequences. And just like that, the stage was set for one of the most sensational legal and political battles of the decade. The lawsuit didn't just make headlines. It detonated like a bomb across the nation. Within hours, the case had become the #1 trending story on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Hashtags lit up the digital battlefield. The Stand with Musk surged as fans, investors, and climate skeptics rallied around him, posting clips of his speeches and Tesla rockets with captions like, Truth will prevail. At the same time, Schiff exposed spread like wildfire, boosted by screenshots of the leaked email. Meanwhile, progressives countered with "Pod Fight Big Money," accusing Musk of trying to muzzle free speech. Cable news networks fanned the flames. On Fox News, analysts praised Musk as a defender of integrity, a billionaire standing up to political slander. On MSNBC, commentators called the lawsuit a dangerous precedent, warning that it could chill criticism of powerful figures. CNN ran a split screen, Musk smiling calmly at a Tesla factory, Schiff behind a podium looking tense, with the headline, "Defamation or Free Speech." In Los Angeles, Schiff held an emergency press conference. Cameras flashed as he stood, stiffly behind a wooden podium, bearing the congressional seal. His tone was fiery, but his eyes betrayed strain. "This is intimidation, pure and simple. I will not be silenced by billionaires who fear accountability. My statements were about corporate influence, and I stand by them." His words drew cheers from his loyal supporters online, but lurking underneath was a growing unease, the leaked email. Schiff insisted it was taken out of context, but the phrase, "accurate or not," hung over him like a dark cloud. Legal analysts kept repeating it, talk show hosts replayed it, and memes mocked it with captions like, "Facts optional." Meanwhile, Elon Musk played his hand differently. At a SpaceX event in Texas, he briefly addressed the case, standing in front of a towering rocket. His tone was measured, calm, almost understated. "This isn't about politics. This is about truth. Words matter. If you lie about people, especially in front of millions, there have to be consequences." The crowd erupted in applause. Clips of his speech went viral, earning him praise for being restrained, while Schiff looked defensive. But the frenzy didn't stop there. Late-night shows roasted Schiff, while conservative radio hailed Musk as a modern-day gladiator. Social media became a war zone, with millions arguing in comment sections. For every user defending Schiff as a whistleblower, another branded him a reckless politician caught red-handed. Behind the curtain, Schiff's staff was fracturing. Leaks to Politico revealed that several aides had warned him not to attack Musk directly without evidence. One anonymous staffer admitted, "We told him to stick to policy. He didn't listen." The revelation hit the press like gasoline on fire. Headlines now read, "Schiff ignored warnings before attacking Musk." By the end of the week, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a lawsuit anymore. It was a cultural war, a battle over truth, accountability, and the explosive power of words in the digital age. And Elon Musk, for once, wasn't just the innovator. He was the accuser. Adam Schiff's office was drowning. Reporters camped outside his Capitol Hill doors. Every day, a new headline pierced through the noise like a dagger. Leaked email shows malice in Schiff's strategy. HUD staff warned him, "Don't attack Musk without proof." $80 million lawsuit moves to trial. Inside, his aides whispered and argued late into the night. Some wanted him to issue a public apology to soften the tone before trial. Others argued that backing down would look like surrender to billionaire power. Schiff himself sat at his desk, staring at the glowing screen of his phone, scrolling through thousands of Instagram comments. Once his posts were flooded with adoration. Now half the comments read like daggers. "Show us the proof." "Where's the evidence?" This isn't leadership, it's recklessness. Even allies began to distance themselves. At a private caucus meeting, one senior Democrat muttered, "Adam's become a liability." The words cut deep, but they weren't wrong. His reputation was slipping. Musk's calculated calm. Elon Musk, meanwhile, thrived in the storm. He didn't rant on Twitter or explode in interviews. He stayed calm, composed, strategic. At a Tesla investor event, he addressed the case for the first time at length. Cameras captured him standing in a sleek black suit, flanked by two gleaming Model S sedans. His tone was steady, almost reflective. "This isn't about me or even about Adam Schiff. This is about accountability. We live in an age where words travel instantly to millions of people. If those words are lies, they can destroy reputations, businesses, lives. If we don't draw a line somewhere, we're all at risk." The room fell silent. Investors, engineers, and journalists listened intently. The clip went viral within hours, praised by even those who weren't Musk supporters. "Calm, direct, measured," wrote one commentator. The judge's decision. The real turning point came in a federal courtroom. Schiff's lawyers had filed a motion to dismiss the case, arguing that his statements were protected political speech. The courtroom was packed, journalists shoulder to shoulder, sketch artists capturing every expression. When the judge entered, the room hushed. After an hour of tense argument, she delivered her ruling. The motion to dismiss is denied. The evidence, including the leaked email, provides sufficient grounds for this case to proceed to trial. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Schiff's shoulders slumped. Musk, seated beside his attorneys, showed no visible reaction, just a slight tightening of the jaw. For him, it was not a victory to celebrate, but a step forward in a long game. The public shifts. The ruling sent shockwaves across the nation. Legal analysts declared it a massive blow to Schiff. Conservative media ran banners like "Musk wins first battle." Even neutral outlets described Schiff as cornered. On TikTok, a viral video spliced together Schiff's fiery accusations with the judge's calm words, denying dismissal. The caption read, "Facts matter." It gathered over 10 million views in a day. At the same time, cracks widened among Schiff's supporters. Progressive activists who had once cheered him began to hedge. A prominent climate YouTuber posted a video titled, "We Need Proof," not just passion. It received over 1 million views and thousands of comments like, "I supported Schiff." But this hurts our cause. For the first time, the tide of public opinion was shifting, not towards silence, but towards Musk. Musk in New Orleans. Days later, Musk flew to Louisiana for a Tesla energy project launch. In front of a crowd of workers and journalists, he took a moment to address the lawsuit. The evening was warm, the Mississippi River gleaming behind him. His voice carried over the hum of cameras. "Folks, I'm not here for revenge. I'm here for the truth. You can disagree with me, you can criticize my companies, my ideas, my rockets. But when you cross the line into lies, especially lies that hurt people, you need to be held accountable." The crowd erupted. Chants of "Elon, Elon" echoed against the river. The clip spread like wildfire across social media. Even some of Schiff's once loyal supporters commented, "Musk's right, this feels bigger than politics now." And with that, the momentum had shifted. For the first time in weeks, it wasn't Schiff setting the tone of the debate, it was Musk. The lawsuit was no longer just a legal battle. It had become a referendum on the power of words in the digital age. And Elon Musk, calm and methodical, was steering it exactly where he wanted. The trial of Elon Musk versus Adam Schiff was set to begin in the federal courthouse of Washington, D.C., but in truth, the verdict was already being written in the court of public opinion. For months, the nation had been glued to every headline, every leak, every live stream. By the time the opening statements arrived, the case was no longer just a lawsuit. It was a cultural mirror, reflecting the fragility of trust in the digital age. The crumbling of Schiff. Inside Schiff's office, the mood was grim. Legal bills had soared past $1 million, forcing him to redirect campaign funds and even sell a cherished family property in California. Staff morale had collapsed. Whispers of betrayal and resignation filled the air. Another leak emerged, this time text messages between aides admitting they had no solid proof against Musk, but were pushing the oil narrative anyway. The story splashed across headlines. Schiff's team knew there was no evidence. Musk's lawyers pounce on new leak. Progressive allies, once vocal in Schiff's defense, had grown silent. A few issued vague statements about respecting dialogue, but avoided mentioning his name. Even environmental groups began distancing themselves, urging leaders to ground their advocacy in facts. Schiff's Instagram, once a rallying place for his followers, had turned into a battlefield of doubt. Late at night, Schiff scrolled through the comments alone in his apartment. Messages like "We believed in you, but this was reckless," burned into his mind. The weight of isolation pressed on him like never before. He had gone from a lion of progressive politics to a man fighting for his very credibility. Musk's ascendancy. Elon Musk, on the other hand, was playing chess while everyone else played checkers. He didn't gloat or lash out. He remained calm, strategic. At a press event in Austin, he spoke to a hall packed with engineers, investors, and journalists. His words were measured, almost philosophical. "This isn't about silencing critics. Criticism is healthy. It pushes us to do better. But lies erode trust. And without trust, we can't build rockets, cars, or even democracy itself." The clip circulated widely, even among communities not typically sympathetic to Musk. Commentators praised his restraint, calling it the most presidential Musk has ever sounded. Approval ratings in polls surged. In Louisiana, where Schiff had accused him of corruption tied to oil, Musk was greeted as a hero when he visited Tesla's energy projects. Workers in hard hats cheered his name. Conservative networks hailed him as a defender of truth. Even some independents and liberals admitted he had a point. You can't just say anything on social media and expect no consequences. The trial's shadow. When the trial finally began, the opening arguments were less important than the atmosphere. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but sketches showed Musk seated tall, focused, calm. Schiff, by contrast, appeared weary, shoulders heavy, his once sharp gaze dulled by exhaustion. The prosecution leaned heavily on the accurate or not email, reading it aloud like a mantra. Each time those words echoed in the courtroom, they cut deeper into Schiff's defense. Legal analysts across networks agreed. The case was devastating for him. Outside, crowds gathered, half chanting, "Truth with Elon," the other half shouting, "Protect free speech." Police lined the courthouse steps. It looked less like a defamation trial, and more like the front line of America's culture wars. The breaking point. Midway through the proceedings, Schiff made a surprise move. In a brief statement to reporters, his voice hoarse, he admitted, "I should have been more careful with my words. I let my frustration drive me too far. For that, I regret the way I framed things." It wasn't a full apology, but it was the closest he had come. For Musk's team, it was validation. For Schiff's base, it was the crack that confirmed what they feared all along. He had overreached. The larger lesson. In the end, whether Musk won the full $80 million judgment mattered less than the cultural victory. The narrative was his. Schiff's star dimmed, his credibility fractured. Musk, calm and methodical, had turned an attack into a platform, a symbol of accountability in an age of unchecked speech. Commentators reflected on the saga with unease. A Washington Post editorial wrote, "Schiff's downfall is a warning for our times." In a digital world where one phrase can echo to millions, the truth cannot be optional. Musk himself summed it up at a Tesla factory in Nevada, standing before a cheering crowd of workers. Verify before you vilify. That's the lesson. Words carry weight, and in this new world, they can either build or they can destroy. The audience roared, cameras flashed, and social media lit up once again. For Schiff, it was the end of a chapter. For Musk, it was another victory, not in rockets or cars, but in the unforgiving battlefield of ideas. And for the world watching, it was a reminder, in the digital age, truth isn't just a virtue, it's survival.